So what is going on, everyone? Fernando Silva here with another video, and today we got a super exciting one. So if you guys watched one of my previous videos, I teased this product that was sent to me about 2 weeks ago, and it is by a company called TinyRigs. And this product is something that I actually haven't seen before. It makes total sense. I don't know why somebody hasn't really thought about this before. I'm sure there have been iterations of it, but this thing is awesome. So this thing is by TinyRig. It is basically like an origrid, so an origrid organizer where you can put stuff and kind of like harness them into place, but then it also has a couple of pockets, a zipper pocket and then a button pocket. And the best thing about it is that it attaches to your Magic Keyboard. So yes, we are talking about an accessory to an accessory today, but I think it's one that is going to be worth your while, especially if you're an iPad Pro owner that has a Magic Keyboard and has a bunch of different accessories to go with your iPad Pro, because again, we're dealing with one Thunderbolt or one USB-C port, so we need auxiliary items for that iPad Pro to make sure that we're working as efficiently as possible. And this TinyRigs product kind of just brings everything together finally into one package that is pretty easy to just carry around and slap whatever you need on the back of your iPad Pro. But without further ado, let's check this thing out by origrid, because you guys have been wanting to see this video, so I figured let's have a dedicated review on this guy, but let's get it going. So first thing to talk about is what they make this for. So you need a either 11-inch or 12.9-inch Magic Keyboard case in order for this to work. So if you have an iPad Air 4, 11 or 12.9-inch iPad Pro, this will work perfectly for you for the Gen 3 and above, as long as you have the new Magic Keyboard with the trackpad with the floating design. So there are two different types or finishes that they made. So they made a canvas finish, which I believe is only 27 bucks, which is crazy to think about. And then they also have a leather finish one, which is one that I have, which is $36 or $37. So from a pricing standpoint, these are very fairly priced. If anything, it made me think of like, hey, maybe it's a little inexpensive so the parts aren't that good, or maybe the leather isn't that premium, but I'll show you guys that honestly for the price, it's very hard to beat A, the material, and B, the function. So let me show you guys how to actually put this on, because it does take around 15 to 20 seconds to put this thing on, because it does have these little like sleeves that you have to guide through the Magic Keyboard itself, and they're a little bit tight, and they should be tight because you want this thing to stay on your Magic Keyboard as long as possible. And depending on how much stuff you actually have on it or in it, the strength of that elastic that holds it together is very, very important. So again, all you do is you open up the Magic Keyboard, take the iPad Pro off, and then just slide it on. Make sure that the first one goes to the bottom of it, so where that first inch is, and then the second part, make sure it goes above the 3 pin connectors, and basically just covers up the top of the iPad Pro. And then once it's slid in, then you can start to move that second hinge around and let it play with it that way. Because basically, at the bottom you have a little pocket with a button, and then you have a zipper pocket as well. And again, you can customize it, and they have very different options. Like if you want just one big zipper pocket, you can do that. If you want like 3 different buttons on there, you can do that as well. So I just went with the large zipper pocket and then the small, I think it's the button pocket or whatever it's called, just to have a little bit of flexibility in what I want to put in there. But again, that's the portion that goes on the bottom half of the Magic Keyboard, and the top half is where that origrid sits, which is something that obviously I've seen around before. I've seen a lot of origrid kind of product-based things, but I've never seen it on an iPad Pro. So just to run you guys through my perfect use case, and this is what I'm going to do the second that LumaFusion 3.0 comes out, is I'm going to leave this origrid on, and I'm going to have my 500GB SSD from RavPower permanently on this origrid, so that way all I have to do is take the cable, the USB-C cable from the little pocket on the origrid, or the TinyRig, and then just plug in that SSD on the back to the actual iPad Pro, and then I have my SSD just chilling on the back of my iPad Pro, no problem, and I can work off of that SSD when using LumaFusion once that LumaFusion update comes out, which I heard, according to Rob HK, that we should be getting it either the end of this week or sometime next week, so fingers crossed. If you guys don't know who Rob HK is, he does a lot of LumaFusion tutorials. I'll definitely link him down below. But anyway, so that is my personal use case, at least for immediate use case, right? This is gonna be also perfect for an on-the-go situation. So if you don't wanna bring a whole bag, if you don't wanna bring chargers with you, if you don't wanna bring all your auxiliary like USB-C hubs, then literally just put it all on the back of the iPad Pro. And yes, it'll get a little bit heavier, obviously, but at the same time, you're not carrying on a backpack. All you do is you throw that in your car and do whatever you want. So you can see in the example that I have like an iPhone 5S in there, my RavPower SSD. I have in the pocket I put I believe it was an Apple Watch charger or an AirPods charger. And then I also have a hyperdrive USB-C hub in there. I have my AirPods Pro dangling from a carabiner on there as well. So, and there's a lot of room to actually add more things. And also, what I love about this origrid is that, yes, it comes pre-assembled for you, so it's weaved for you in the way that they think is best and most beneficial for the most amount of people. So you can actually pop off the button and then re-weave the actual origrid weave to however you see fit. So if you have a bunch of large items and you need big strands of weave, then go ahead and do that. If you have a bunch of tiny ones, like 100 pencils or something, and you need tiny little sections, you can do that as well. So I just love the customization of the origrid and just how simple it is, and I just can't believe it took somebody this long to come up with this like solution at this price point. I don't know. I just thought it was something that's so beneficial, so useful. The price is perfect. Like, it's not like a $70, $80, $100 accessory for your accessory, because I think that they know that this is an accessory for your iPad Pro accessory. So it's kind of hard to justify spending even more money for just another accessory for an accessory. I know that I'm saying that word a lot, but hey, it is what it is. And then also what they did, obviously they had to do a cutout for the camera bump, so they did do that for the 2021 and 2020 iPad Pros. So it has a big square camera bump, and there's a lot of protective. I think they use like TPU, I don't know, I think they said like 6 millimeters of it or something like that, just to make sure that it does have some drop protection just in case, and it protects the camera fully. So you don't have to worry about anything getting into the camera or things like that. It is a big divot, I won't lie to you, but again, you have your camera fully protected, and you can also still use your camera like normal. But so far I've had this product for about 2 weeks now, and I've been playing with it a while, and one of my biggest fears was the elasticity on a couple of things, right? Because the sleeve itself holds onto the Magic Keyboard via 2 large elastic bands, and my biggest fear was, let's say if I really load up the origrid, maybe put like 5 pounds worth of stuff on there with an external battery and all these other things, and then I take it off, will the elastic kind of stretch a little bit? And so far over a 2-week span, no, there's been zero stretch, zero worry about that. And I can say the same thing, and even more so for the actual weave mechanism of the actual origrid, because those are also elastic. So the more items that you put in your origrid, the tighter it's gonna get, and the more it's going to expand those elastics. But so far over a 2-week span, zero detriment, or like nothing crazy has happened. The elasticity stays there. I haven't had anything fall out or be misplaced or anything drop out of the actual thing. So far it's been working. Now I'm definitely gonna see what it's like maybe like a year down the line, see what that elastic is like at that point. But again, it's hard to complain when the price point is $26 for like the cheapest model, and it doesn't go any higher than, I believe, $40 for like the 12.9-inch leather-bound one with whatever color you want and things like that, because that's another thing. They come in like 10 different colors, and you pretty much get to choose whatever you want. So overall, from a long-term perspective, we gotta see exactly how that elasticity lasts and how well it does over time. But for right now, I have zero complaints about it. It's worked extremely well. It's worked as advertised. And honestly, it's met and exceeded my expectations as to what it could do. Because again, yes, it's something that could just store a bunch of goodies for your iPad Pro, but it's so simple. You just add it to your iPad Pro, you add it to your Magic Keyboard, you can throw it in your bag with your Magic Keyboard. So whenever you pull out your iPad Pro, that's all you need to pull out of your bag, and then you're running away with whatever work you need to get done. So overall, the origrid has been awesome. I highly recommend it. I'm gonna leave it down in the description below. I believe they start shipping in early July, so the early bird special is 15% off. I don't have a discount code or anything, but I will link to their website down below for you guys to check it out. But that's gonna do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think below. Is this something that you could add to your arsenal? What would you put on it? Is there a certain workflow that you see this TinyRig origrid kind of helping you out with? Like I said, mine is going to be that LumaFusion situation, because I could just easily use my 500GB SSD as an external storage device and basically work off that storage device and not worry about how much storage is on my iPad Pro. But let me know what kind of use cases you guys have. And again, it's going to be linked down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time,